Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Oluwa Borijan and with me we have
Alpha Williams, Before Adewale.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about the youth and the society. So stay tuned, enjoy, get your notepads and let's get into it. Yes, Mr. Dipo, let me start with you. What do you think are the impacts of youth in the society?
Yes, thank you so much. Viewers, you are powerfully welcome again. Impact of youth in our society, they are very enormous. Firstly, I will start with the fact that youth help to bring a nation to a limelight. It helps bring a nation to a forefront. And this can be possible if the so-called youth are resilient, they are hardworking, and they are very diligent. Also, youth impact in a society can also come in the way of breaking barriers. Yes, breaking every challenges, every limitation. As I've said in my first comment that it comes along with resilience. Yes, to have impact as a youth in a society, you must be very resilient, you must be hardworking, you must be compassionate, and you must be consistent. So the impact of youth are very enormous and cannot be underemphasized.
That's very true, Mr. Dikpo. I like the fact that you said that youths actually bring a nation to the limelight. Interestingly, many things we see today, they are results of what people have done in their nation. But you made mention of just the positive, impact. So, Mr. Culver James, would you help us with the negative impacts of youth in the society?
Okay, to start with, the definition for who a youth is has always been one thing people argue about, because even in youth societies or youth organizations or youth platforms, we still see people who are way older or parents trying to struggle, youth at heart. They still struggle with other persons and say, I am a youth, I want this position, I want to be president, I want to be chairman of the youth association, especially in the National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYC, and you see those kind of people. But we know that a youth, by definition, according to statistics also, follows the age range from 18. Now, anybody who is at the age of 18 to 35 or 45 now, that person, just like Mr. Diko said, it's supposed to be at his or her prime, where you have every agility in you to do what you want to do and take decisions. And then we know that we've always been told that the human life is divided into three, where you have the childhood, where children, as a child, you have to make promises. I want to buy my daddy an aeroplane when I grow up. I want to take mommy to China when I grow up, and all of that. And then you now get to the youthful age or stage where you have to execute those actions. And then it gets to the old age where if you failed in any of the things you thought of while you were growing up, you begin to regret. That's why some old people are not happy, because they're always frowning their faces. Okay, having said that, if we understand that, it means that if at the level or at the age or the stage where a person is young, that person can do exploit positively, just like Mr. Duper mentioned, it implies also that that person can channel that energy into doing negative things.
Yeah.
That is why we have youths who are really doing a lot of social vices. There are youths who have channeled their energy, instead of channeling it positively, they've taken it negatively, where they do drugs. So you see, I know there are old people who do fraud. In fact, I heard the story recently where an old man scammed a responsible young man all the way from Calabar to Abuja to mess him up, right? And then by just listening to an old person's voice, you see the man well dressed, and by his age, you like, this guy, this papa cannot do me or scam me. But that man was a scam, So you see more youth who are fraudsters. They are into negative things, and because they have the time, all right, their system will not tell on them. They have the energy. They are busy doing negative things. You see where youth are now prostitutes. I don't know how many of us saw that story online last week, where one useless, I think he calls himself Mommy of Abuja or something, was killed he boldly could say to the world that he used to service men, so he would dress himself like a woman, and then when men carry him out, they say he used to. In fact, it's a messy story. And then finally, he was killed last week. It was when he was killed that he was opened up, and then the pictures are online now. They now saw that he was a man. He was a man. He's bold to say he is not into prostitution to take women, but that men will take him. He's a youth. You know, there are people doing other negative things, more negative things. People do Yahoo. It's common in our streets. You see them, they are proud, they smoke, you know. It now means as if you are not with them, then you know celebrity they do. You're a Jew guy. They see you like you cannot, in fact, you are nothing before them. So I feel that why the impact of youth, you know the word impact, there's the IMPACT, right? When something hits something with force, and then there's another one of IMPART, the impact, where we say impactation, we transfer what you have to the next generation or the next person. What I feel is, if we begin to continue and allow the society dance towards this direction or go this tilt this direction is going, it will be difficult for us, ambassador, to transfer positive things to either our children or the next generation. Because if the crime looks like it's a way or a pattern or a culture in the society where more people are doing it, you know, it gets to a point where it feels like because more people are doing a thing, it becomes the right thing, okay? So it will become a difficult thing because we will not have parents who will sit down. If my father comes to tell me, why are you failing? I'm not dull. Your mother is not dull. Where are you bringing dullness from? I will sit down to say, oh wow, I should think about myself. Why am I behaving like this? Why am I not meeting up? Okay, is there a thing I can do to now show up? We have talked about the intelligent quotient the other time, right? But if daddy cannot sit down and tell me, I read my books, maybe daddy is a Yahoo boy. Don't say that. Mommy cannot tell me, if you go out and 7 meet you outside, I'm going to flog you. Mommy had no self-discipline while she was growing up. She stayed out for long as she wanted and came back to the house anytime she feels like. Then you see that the generation is degenerating. Is that the word? No, is depreciating, where we don't have people of standard to put this thing up. So the impact, negative impact of the youth on the society is staring on our face, and it is bad because people are swaying into this direction, and the whole number is increasing by the day. There are initiations and people falling apart. So while Mr. Dipo was mentioning the positive aspect, I don't even know if the positive weighs more or the negative weighs more.
Well, interestingly, I would even like to ask, because now we've been able to identify some of the positive impacts and some of the negative impacts. But we know that nothing just happens. Nobody just decides to be on the positive or decides to be on the negative. You must have been influenced by something. For most of the individuals we have out there, you know, who are doing awesome, amazing, positive stuff, people who are volunteering, people who are into philanthropical activities, or who are philanthropists rather, you know, most of those people, they must have learned it as the good way or learned it while growing up. So what do you think are the influences behind positive impacts or negative impacts? For instance, on the society, we can tell out that we have a lot of youths who are engaged in social vices, youths who are engaged in prostitution, fraudulent activities, and most of them, if you ask them, they have a reason for doing it. So what do you think are the would be the reason? Of course, the reason doesn't justify the action, okay, but why would you think that these individuals would choose to do these things, would choose to, you know, do the negative? Whether it has a long-term impact on society or a short-term impact, they just do these things, you know, and most of them have reasons for it. So what do you think would be the reason?
All right. Firstly, I would say it is a cycle they mostly mingle with. I mean,
so that would be peer influence.
They are peer influence. Let me cite this man as an example. Tony Elumelu. You know, when he was sharing his entrepreneurial journey, he said that when he was working then at Standard Bank, his boss always makes sure that any message that comes in is treated as early as possible. Any work the customer brings in are treated as early as possible. So he has cultivated that habit. Now, his friend do credit him that if they send a mail to him within 24 hours, he's going to reply them. He was able to imitate this habit from his boss. So your peer group, the people you mingle with, your environment can also decide your character and what you are doing. It's very important that the peer you mingle yourself with, you have to make sure you choose wisely. Choose your peer wisely, though you don't have say over the peer sometimes, but you can decide what to separate yourself from anyone that may influence you in a negative way.
that's right.
Because if care is not taken, you find yourself doing it. Those that are drinking today, smoking, doing all sorts of social vices, cyber crime, it starts from somewhere. I was sharing this story to someone during my undergraduate. The first hostel I lived then, there was this guy, they wanted to influence me to come and join them in all this cyber stuff or cyber crime stuff. Because then I was like, when I'm typing, they see how fast I am. So, but when I discovered that they wanted to initiate me, so I need to just try and leave that hostel. Because
Yeah.
if I did not leave that hostel, the tendency for me to join them.
That's
So,
true.
if you see that this is a red flag, you need to make sure that you distance yourself. Because
Mhm.
if you don't distance yourself, in a little while, you see yourself doing what they are doing.
That's actually very true. You identified the fact that one of the influence could be environment,
Environment,
or peer influence.
Mhm.
I think you also made mention of mentorship.
Mentorship
So
very
that would
important.
mean that the upbringing of these youths, it counts.
Very
The environment they grew up in, the kind of people they submitted to, the kind of discipline they had while growing up, as an influence. So is it safe to say that most of the negative vices that we see, or
Mhm.
most of the social vices we see,
Mm.
are also influenced by upbringing?
Yes, they are mostly. I would say 80%. 80% are influenced by upbringing and also the environment. You can't compare a child that lives in a ghetto area with a child that just lives, maybe they have a compound, morning, afternoon, night, they're in the compound, not going out anyhow. But a child that lives in a ghetto area, he or she is very free, can move here and there. So such child that lives in a ghetto area will be more exposed to so many things than a child that lives just in a compound
Enclosed.
from school to church and to home.
Okay.
So
That's actually very profound. Well, Mr. James, let me ask you. Now, for a child who grows up in a negative environment, and then we've seen people like that who grew up in negative environments who do not look like the environment, or people who grew up in a bad family setting, they don't look like the family they grew up in. So things like that, somebody will say that if you grew up where I grew up in, this, that, and I don't look like where I came out from, I don't have the negative mindset, I don't do the negative stuff that they do. So for that kind of child, what do you think is the difference? What made that child, what is the driving force behind the positive decisions and the positive impacts that child, is doing on the society?
I feel that there's a way you begin to say something. Why I believe that what Mr. Diko said is 100% correct. While he was talking, my mind went back to think something in scriptures. Where can we see pride originated from? Because let's say Lucifer at the time, the one we hated and called devil now, right? was in heaven with his master God, and then all of a sudden he just could desire the seat on the throne.
Like you're in that holy place.
That
and
holy
yes,
place.
Wow.
And then can we say an evil spirit came
No,
from where?
No.
You get? So I understand also that the environment, peers, and people around can influence, but I would like to I would like us to look inwardly and say some of these things stem from should I call it laziness or idle minds? We say the devil finds job for idle minds. So if your mind is not preoccupied or your mind is not occupied, anything can just thrive, anything can just grow, anything can just become a little seed. When we talk about this thing, it doesn't have to be a very big thing before it influences you. It can be something like, just like I said one recently, that A line is a moving dot. So that thing that drops inside of you like a tiny seed can become a thought. You begin to think it, you begin to say it, it becomes your action, it becomes your reaction, your attitude, it grows to become your behavior. Before you know, it becomes your character. So see that people always want to tie certain things to excuses. If you grew up in the environment I grew up, but we still have people who grew up in very terrible terrain and they are responsible people. We still have people who were given the best of training
who ended up being
the worst. I know a pastor's son who so troubled the father because he became a cultist and almost took the father's life. The father did everything humanly possible. That boy was his first child and would not have gotten any advice from daddy or mommy to join cult, but he chose that path. And then while the father goes around delivering other people and praying for other people, his own first seed is just like that. So are we going to say the environment? So I see that there are youth who will just wake up every morning and will choose not to do anything, choose not to read, choose not to engage in anything positive. And then let's say, for instance, you don't want to go into immorality, like you don't want to womanize, but you just have a thing with seeing naked pictures of pornography or porn. You enjoy seeing it. What do you think will be the outcome? All of a sudden, you don't need anybody to come and teach you. You see yourself doing it. You admire people when they smoke on the screen. You watch videos that are always portraying those kind of messages. Your mind is empty. Whatever you see will now, the eyes are the windows to the heart, right? It will now feed you. You just become a result of what you've been feeding yourself.
I think that's very profound. It makes me agree with the saying that you're not a product of your environment, rather you're a product of your decisions. Okay, you're in this environment where I'm deciding not to be like my environment. That's actually very profound. And then I think that largely what we've been saying has really been centered on education, a part of education that comes with, a transformed mind, a better mind, a positive mind. So I just want to say now, what would you say can be the solution, or would be the solution to solving, or to alleviating the negative impacts we have on society? Because we already can see it, that these things are affecting society. An average person, interestingly, sometimes you're going out and, you're just so conscious of your bag, your phone, and then you're like, I would not steal somebody's phone, but why would they steal my phone? You get? So society is made up of individuals. It reflects the kind of individuals that are in that society. So how do you think we can solve this problem? Do we just go on telling people, oh, don't smoke again, you are affecting the ecosystem, don't do this, don't do that, and things like that? How do you think we can actually solve this problem of that's the negative impact? And how do you think we can encourage people to do better, to do more positive stuff for the society?
Okay, I'll come from the side of Mr. James. Number one, every you should know that you should not be idle. If you are idle, you will be open to many social vices. So make sure that you are not idle. Find a very positive thing doing. When you are doing something, that will help you to train your mind, to help you to build you and make you responsible. I will let you know this morning, this afternoon, and this evening, wherever you are listening to us, that if you are idle, you are open to many vices. So make sure you are responsible. Take whatever profession that you have decided to do, take it so very serious. It's very important. Take it very serious. Be it vocation or your course you study in school, take it so serious. Have the desire to go more further. As you just finished undergraduate and you are planning to do a master's, you can move on. Doctorate, you can move on. You want to do one professional course, you can move on. Make sure you are engaged. Move with like-minded people, and you will see yourself getting transformed every day. So I think that is the way we can reduce the vices, the negative impact. Now, coming to the positive impact, I want to encourage youth like me that build yourself to be independent. Don't be much dependent on your parents or on your guardians. Mind you, I'm not saying that you should not receive mentorship. Mentorship is very, very important. Yes, you have to be mentored by your parents, by your guardians, by the elders. But build yourself to be independent, be resilient, whatever you are doing, you to keep you moving forward.
Yes, that's very, very awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Dipo. Mr. James, what would you have?
All right, let me say a few things. First, I'll say that on the side of the parents should do their best to train their children the right way, so that we'll not have these negatives we have, because it trends and it becomes the number keeps increasing by the day. All right, and then just like Mr. Dipo said, nobody should fold his or her hands waiting for the government or for a savior from anywhere. Get yourself involved, be doing something. We have that, what's that guy's name again, who the Guinness Book of Record guy who won chess, yeah, and then the Hilda Bassi. These are youths like us who are already doing a lot. In fact, there's a senator in Cross River State who is a youth by age also, doing so much already. So why are you going to fold your hands and just wait for some manner? Manners don't fall these days again, right? So just get yourself in. Even if it is politics, get involved. See, when it comes to politics, you just know that power will not come to you. You have to negotiate to get to the table where decisions are taken. It is when you arrive at that table that you will now become one of them. If not, if we fold our hands and say it is youth o'clock, it is youth o'clock, it will be youth o'clock until you become an old man, and that chance will pass. So just be doing something. It must not be anything that needs. I don't think everything needs money, including business. It has to be an idea.
Yes,
that's
That's very important.
Very important. Very important. So you see, if you find yourself in the sphere where you talk and people laugh, or you talk and it makes more sense, channel it to something. Maybe you could be an anchor of events or an MC. You could channel that. People talk and make money, right?
Yeah.
So why will you just say each time I talk they say you talk too much? But you are talking and people are laughing. You see these comedians we celebrate now, it got to a point where they needed to be funny to the closest person by them before they had to approach the stage. How will you be a comedian when your paddy they follow you laugh when you be funny? You get? Or you see yourself having the urge to write. I don't know who is watching this, but we are just encouraging you that you have to find yourself in a place where you can do something. It can be artwork, maybe you just draw, or you get yourself involved in a skill. People will never stop barbing hair, so AI will not come and take that from us. People will never stop making clothes, so AI will not come and stop that from us. People will not stop wearing shoes, right? People make shoes now, handmade shoes, beautiful and nice. You just have to do one thing to keep yourself busy. If you are busy like that, even devil no go see you. They say if the devil finds work for an idle mind, or the devil mind, what is that again? An idle man is a devil workshop. If idle man spoil something for devil workshop, who go pay? So you see, if you don't have anything to do, you can get yourself involved in more problems. Because you see this life, you have to hustle. If you no hustle, your children will grow up and federal government will sew uniform for them. So it's necessary that you have one thing doing. Even if it is driving, learn something. Opportunity will come, and God willing, you will become somebody that is celebrated. Let opportunity not meet you vacant, folding your hands, and you cannot produce anything.
Thank you so much, Mr. James. Viewers, we've come to the end of this broadcast, and I just want to encourage you, like we've said, do not be idle. Be conscious of your environment. Submit yourself to mentorship, and most importantly, whatever you're doing, learn to give back to society. Okay, we have people out there who are giving back to society positively. So if it's your skills, whatever it is that you're learning, find a way you can solve a problem in the society. So we'll come your way again. I'm Oluwabori John.
Yeah, before I leave you, Nigeria needs more citizens. Sorry, Nigeria needs more active citizens. So as a youth, you have to be part of them. Thank you so much. I thank you for Adewale.
Yes. Now don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share, and don't forget to watch. We are actively waiting for your impact. Have a great day.